40 biggest adult temper tantrums witnessed, according to Reddit. Number 40. When I was working at Petco, I used to see all kinds of adult temper tantrums. People needed to take care of their animals, but hated how much that costs. Of course, they would take it out on the store employees. People that wanted fish were the worst. They would try to get away with spending so little on fish and never wanted to clean their tanks or buy stuff to do that. They wouldn't properly introduce new fish to their tanks and would bring in samples of their water that was just terrible and be pissed when they couldn't get another fish for free to replace the one they killed. However, the biggest adult temper tantrum was from a guy that bought flies really cheap. What's flies off? In an attempt to get rid of fleas. Oh boy. I think he bought like some kind of fly repellent to get rid of fleas. But the flea repellent is probably expensive, relatively expensive. He used the whole bottle and came back expecting a refund because his dog still had fleas. He was told no, and things went south quick. He was yelling by the check lanes about how he deserved a refund. This is funny to me. Screaming at the manager in front of everyone, making a huge scene. He then kicked over the spinning rack holding dog collars and yelled that he was going to come back and shoot up the windows. Where was this going on? That's a threat, my nigga. We called the police. He never actually came back. But what a total piece of garbage, like over 5 to 10 bucks, like holy bing bong. Is it even that relevant?
On video?
I mean, to me, I just think it's like, that's a solid threat. You know what I'm talking about? And when that happens, and y'all, you know what I mean? Come on now. Come on now. Number 39.
Wait, did I ever tell you about the time I killed a whole aquarium of fish when I was a little girl?
By doing what, Stripes?
I put in a little Lego man that was in a scuba diver suit. But that thing had been rolling around in like Play-Doh for a while, and the next morning all the fish were dead.
I'm so sorry for you, Stripes. That
Don't
makes
be
me
sorry.
feel terrible because it's such an innocent, childish mistake. He's a little scuba dude. He can't kill people, but apparently the Play-Doh introduced chemicals into the environment that fucked those little fish. That sucks. What an unfortunate and chilling anecdote. Hopefully, if there are parents listening, Sarah Bishop, you can use this as some sort of like learning experience to hopefully remind your kids, if you guys get a tank, not to put shit into that tank, because introducing foreign elements could have a really, really poor, consequence on these freaking fish. Speaking of adult temper tantrums, some idiot named Angel Lou, who is actually a man that dresses up like a woman, left some pretty ridiculous comments on my video recently, so we can read those at the end of this list. A little Easter egg for those interested.
Oh wow.
Number 39. When I was in high school, my boyfriend was planning on joining me and my friends for an indie movie night at my house. Boyfriend called me up to say that he couldn't make it because he had to watch his siblings. And I overheard his dad screaming, stomping and yelling at the top of his lungs. He kept calling me a stupid little whore and a fucking waste of time. I should mention that I was 14. Who calls a 14-year-old girl that? I ended up calling the police on him twice later. Once when he punched his son in the face, and another when he followed my mom and brother home. He wanted to teach her a lesson, we found out. Oh my God. I don't wish pain on anyone, but if he died in a car fire, I'd probably do a little dance. Some people are crazy, dude. You know what I mean? What's this old man got going on for? Look, you know what it is? Some people get fucked up when they're a little kid. You know what I mean? And all they do is make everything an outlet for their rage. So these poor people involved in this man's life that's just gone nuts, calling a little girl a fucking whore and a waste of time. Oh my God. That poor little dude. Number 38. Old job. one day we had a huge tech overhaul they didn't prepare anyone for. Entire machines we're used to using were just gone, sometimes replaced, sometimes not. After 3 hours of literally everyone asking the manager how they were supposed to do their jobs now, he walked to the middle of the room, turned in a slow circle, screaming at the top of his lungs and gesturing wildly, saying, "Everyone just do what you always fucking do." So I went to my workstation and waggled my fingers in the air where a keyboard had been the day before. This is ridiculous. Somebody said, "I like you."
I like you too.
Some other person named Pokemon Pasta says, "I like you too." Speaking of Pokemon Pasta, you know Pokemon Go's updating their game in some kind of big way to incorporate some sort of collaborative group fucking monkey balls.
Man, I don't even really care about that yet. It's just like I want the legendary birds they're missing.
They're probably only going to have that at whatever stupid event that they're planning, that only some kind of like straight up autist that is Pokemon crazy and obsessed would go to. So imagine that, if the legendary birds are only specific to these events that they hold, that you'd have to be crazy to think about going to, spending money
Wait.
on. What?
Okay, back to what you were saying. Do you think they'll introduce like trading? Like worldwide trading where I could trade
I
Pokemon
don't
with you?
think so. I think it's going to be something small. Maybe it will incorporate like you getting some sort of boost, or perhaps more Pokemon showing up if a certain amount of people are together. Something stupid like that. What I would like is trading. Yes, I would like maybe even the capacity to add friends in the game, and then you know call them up, or not call them up or text them, but just some kind of social. You know how in the old Pokemon games you could exchange numbers with people?
Yeah.
Something like that. Something cute like that. Even if it doesn't turn into anything, just some kind of social thing. You got to get people out again. But it's probably, that ship's probably sailed. Back to the list of 40 biggest adult temper tantrums witnessed. Talking about adult temper tantrums, I used to go crazy when Pokemon Go was fucking up. Number 37. I'm in retail, so I witnessed my fair share of adult temper tantrums, but ever since I became manager, it's 10 times worse, because now I'm the one who gets called up to deal with the tantrums. A few weeks ago, a woman wanted to return a curling iron that had clearly been being used for years, and wasn't even a brand that my store sold. So she obviously had no receipt, no original packaging, meaning it was like it wasn't eligible for return anyway, whether or not it's something she had bought at our store. When I told her this, politely of course, she puffed up and asked to speak to the manager. Okay, I'm a manager, but the store's general manager will be here tomorrow if you want to leave your number, and I can have her give you a call. Nope, not acceptable. She wants cash for it today. Even if somehow it was able to accept the return, or I was able to accept the return, my system literally won't let me. It would be store credit only, never cash. I tell her this, and she flips the fuck out, screams at me literally, not figuratively, tells me that she's calling the cops and corporate and the Better Business Bureau and the Attorney General. What the fuck are they gonna do about it? Calls me a cunt and a whore, and then she tells me karma is going to bite me in the ass and I'm going to have a stillborn baby. Okay.
Ugh.
Crazy lady's gonna be crazy. Which was really fun to hear, considering I'm currently 9 months pregnant. And because she couldn't return her used curling iron for meth money. I had no doubt in my mind she was on some sort of substance, but the significant amount of teeth oh my god, but the significant amount of teeth missing from her mouth tipped me off that it was meth she was after, and you obviously can't pay your dealer in store credit. Oh my god. Oh boy. The idiot that commented cross-dressing he she is
Oh, what do they say?
They were actually one of those people making comments about the shit that I say about women. Obviously not blanket statements about all women, just about most women. You know, you guys know a lot of basic bitches, you know what I'm talking about? And women can't deny it themselves that on a monthly fucking basis, your body becomes a chemical battleground. You become, not figuratively or technically, you become literally unstable, and you have to exercise insane amounts of restraint to just not go the fuck off in a bitch capacity. You guys got to actively try not to come off like a bitch, because most people are going to call women bitches regardless of how they act, you know what I mean? Let alone when they're dealing with this thing that they go through on a monthly basis that's not even their fault, it's just genetic. So to have somebody just like act like, you know what I'm talking about, is like foreign and doesn't make sense, when most of the basic hoes that you know that are on Instagram taking pictures of their food, that have live life love fucking, you know, picture frames in their bathroom and shit like this, that want to go down and watch a Justin Bieber concert, you know what I'm talking about? These aren't just like, you know, a couple of people in the ocean of the women out there. It's most of them, and it's weird, but you can't pretend they don't exist. And they were in the comment section just flipping out about it. It was adorable. They were like, you can't make that, blah, blah. And then they were like, how do you know that your experiences are done? As if I ever claimed that they were, you know? What? Number 30.
Part of the reason why I was so hesitant to like rebalance my hormones, because like I'm already incredibly emotional as is. Taking medication is not going to help me with that.
I mean, women are a battleground, you know? You guys are pretty incredible. You do it like nobody else could. You guys have them babies and everything that comes with it. Just chemically, there is a fucking war going on inside of you guys. So the fact that you guys have these little outbursts, it's not the end of the world. If anybody is entitled, it's definitely the women. But to pretend that like this kind of behavior is in the minority or something, that's madness. But number 36.
Oh man, I found this quote from Jack Nicholson, and I don't know which movie it is, but he says, somebody asked him how he writes women so well, and he just says, I write a man, but I take away their reasoning and a liability?
What?
Something about being liable about their actions. There it is.
Jack Nicholson. As good as it gets. How do you write women so well? Nicholson responds, I think of a man and I take away reason and accountability. Ooh. That's so rude. But it's a little bit true. Guys, to fill you in on what the hell I'm talking about very quickly, we are going to quickly jump to the comment that some he/she left on my video recently. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a deviation. I rarely ever read my own comments, but here we go. Okay, this person writes, not that I'm in a position to tell you shit about how you feel about women. That's completely your experience. But you said earlier that people who talk about all the wonderful women that they know just haven't reached the completion of their experience. But how do you know that you have reached yours? You said that 9 out of 10 women are how you've described, but that's kind of a broad statement, pun intended. Let me reiterate, I am not here to tell you how you should feel about women. Women here, I'm a woman here is what they're saying, okay? That's debatable, okay? Woman here, I love the channel and even agree with you about a few points you make. Sometimes what you say in no way affects me and how I feel. You tell me about it, okay? But I guess I just really like to know how you've come to be the way that you are. So I respond, you wrote so much without saying anything at all. Is that harsh? I don't care. Noteworthy, I say. I have never claimed and never will to even be near the completion of my experience. It's illogical. Why the hell would I ever say that? Why would I ever say that I've seen it all, I've learned it all? There will never be anything that occurs now to learn from, or to it's like somebody claiming that everything that's ever going to be invented has already been invented. What the fuck are you talking about? I go on to say 9 out of 10 is statistically factual. Basic women are at the constant will of their emotions, and just because some people only encounter variations on the 1 out of 10 of grounded women does not make that type the majority. Okay? If you believe otherwise, you're wrong. Sorry? Question mark? They respond, Kyle, I don't really see how I'm wrong. Even though I prefaced it with, if you believe otherwise. I made an inquiry. I told you nothing. I asked a question. But sorry, clearly something happened to you. And that's obviously unfortunate. Now, let's respond to the Stripes, okay? Because they asked a question. They made an inquiry. The only question mark that's in this whole bitch is right here. And here's what it says, okay? How do you know that you've reached yours in response to the completion of my experience? And let me reiterate, I never said that. So this is what my response says. Assume whatever you wish. They say asses do that, okay? In response to her, obviously something happened to me or whatever. I reiterate her inquiry. How do you know that you have reached yours in reference to the completion of an experience? A stupid question, especially when I never claim to and never will. I prefaced it by saying, if you believe otherwise, let me take a page out of your book and comment like you would, because she was like, clearly something happened to you. And that's obviously unfortunate. And I keep saying she, but Stripes, I think you know that when I say she, Kyle really mean he, Stripes. Kyle really mean he, Stripes. It's a man, baby. Stripes, it's a man, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Think this is some kind of game, Stripes? Oh my god. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm not still entirely convinced that Zoe Quinn is a woman. So
why are you always talking about Zoe Quinn, Stripes? What does she do?
How is that a lady? Look at her hands.
Look at her hands. That's rude. Not all girls can have dainty hands like you, Stripes.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my god. I didn't mean it as a freaking compliment. Everything with this girl. Okay, so here's what I said. Clearly, you are actually a man transitioning into a woman, and if you would refute that as a majority being statistically and chemically more unstable, if you refute that women as a majority are statistically and chemically more unstable, real women accept it about themselves and exercise restraint. Bing bong. And then he's like, maturity in its truest form. Okay, I hope you can see that your assumption and experiences and what's factual aren't the same, no matter how vehemently you like to rant about them. Or don't. Who gives a fuck? I thought this was an open space. You got a great channel, but your attitude is really to your detriment, okay? There are quirks that can be appreciated, and then there's this. Why are men talking to me wearing wigs and lipstick, Stripes? Okay?
It's just something about you, I suppose.
And I need it to stop, okay? I know that it's flattering in a way that a man looks at me and thinks to himself, my God, he is just so fantastic. But he's only into women. What can I do? And then Mamma Mia starts playing Mamma Mia. And then they look in the mirror and they're just like, gotta put on a wig and some lipstick.
Here we go again.
Here we go again, Stripes. Okay. Remember when we were recording a list?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, to reiterate, guys, we're back on 40 biggest adult temper tantrums. Now that my tantrum is done being had, I gotta fucking resituate these fucking windows here, okay? And we are on number 36. I used to work at a Whole Foods as a cashier, and on one particular busy night, I was about to have my customer pay when he took his cart. He pulled it back and slammed it into the next guy's cart at the register next to mine. Those registers are really tight quarters. My guy then raised his voice saying, "I can't even reach the machine to swipe my card. Move your cart, asshole." This was crazy because he could have just moved his own cart out of the way, but insisted on slammed his neighbors instead. So the next guy over, calm as a Zen master, slowly turns to the other cashier, tried our hardest not to laugh, but then, turns to the other cashier, whoa, no. Sorry, I skipped a line. Maybe. Calm as a Zen master, slowly turns to the other slowly turns to the guy. Oh my bing bong. This got me so good, Stripes. Slowly turns to the guy, looks at the carts, looks at me, looks at my guy, and just says, "We can fight about it if you want." Me and the other cashier tried our hardest not to laugh, but the look of embarrassment on the guy's face as he realized how ridiculous he was acting was something else. He got shut down. Well, that's just cute.
Why didn't he play it off like he was telling a joke?
I don't know. This is just the types of people that are out there. You know what I'm talking about? Number 35. A woman who is in her late 20s/early 30s dressed in a business suit, who is literally screaming the face of a poor security guard at Heathrow after having her half-finished juice box taken away and disposed of? Was this her kid's juice box? Fucking with the airport security is typically a quick way to not get on your flight and be treated to a shiny new pair of steel bracelets. Did she not get hauled away for this? And there's probably what's else I wanted to hang around and find out, but sadly it had taken me so long to get through security that my flight was boarding by the time I got through. Somebody else says, "What a bummer. We'll never get a conclusion to this wild and crazy anecdote." Stupid. I mean, yeah, people are crazy. What?
I've seen this big lady tear apart like a gas station because they didn't have the chips she wanted, or a dollar store, something like that.
That sounds intense, Stripes. Would you tear apart a gas station if they didn't have the chips you wanted?
No.
Somebody left a comment on the video I recorded earlier and said that I've been pronouncing Haribo incorrectly, and I could have swore I heard Mexicans saying Haribo when it's probably Haribo, I guess. Bears?
I don't know. I've never had any.
I thought you said you were crazy about the Haribo bears.
No. I don't like gummy bears.
What the hell are you crazy about then?
Most things, just not gummy bears.
No, there's a type of candy that you wouldn't shut up about, and you were telling me that you were having a lot of it.
Something with almonds in it, I think. Marzipan.
Marzipan has almonds?
It's made out of almonds. It's almonds and rose water.
It sounds like ass. All right, number 34.
Why don't you like almonds? I don't get you.
Because they're nuts. Ugh. Number 34. We were in a shoe store where a woman was trying on multiple. That's how I say that now. Oh, I thought I was going to say multicolored. But I just stopped reading halfway through the word and my brain was like, colored. That's a word. Oh my God. We were in a shoe store where a woman was trying on multiple pairs of shoes. The salesman kept bringing her pair after pair to try on. It was a challenge for him because the lady was obese and could barely see the shoes on her feet. Finally, he said, "I've shown you practically every style shoe in your size that we have in stock. Do you like any of them?" She grabbed a high heel from one pair and threw it at him, hitting the salesman in the chest. She yelled, "I wouldn't buy shoes if you paid me," and stormed out the door. Oh, Dolores Umbridge, you so crazy.
Why would you waste someone's time like that? Your own time too. What does this accomplish?
How dare you say that to my face? I'd say it behind your back, but my car's only got half a tank of gas. Al Bundy. Go together like a horse and carriage. Stripes is way too young for
Wait, did Al
Married with
Bundy
Children.
work at a shoe store? I can't remember.
Yes, Stripes. Yes, Al Bundy worked at a shoe store. What a average Joe job. Jeez. Man, I wanted to like earlier I tried calling you to do a little bit for those little cartoons that we do, and I was supposed to ask you what's brown and rhymes with Snoop.
You didn't keep it?
I did, but it's ruined. It's ruined.
It's your fault, not mine. I mean, I probably
it's normally your fault, man. Yeah, and
Look,
I ruined it this time.
It probably would have fallen apart anyway, since I don't know who Dr. Dre is.
Yeah.
So,
guys, if you're interested, hopefully this is just subscribers watching this and not people that aren't familiar with this channel. So this can take the podcasty style that it needs to be taking instead of the listy style. You're not watching an hour-long video expecting a normal list, not with 40 fucking entries. What you want is some zippy, zany bullshit BuzzFeed crap. So earlier I was trying to do a bit, which I've done for the We're Done animation type, little cartoon videos I've done in the past. But what I meant to do was call her up on Skype, ask her, what is brown and rhymes with Snoop? And the obvious answer is supposed to be poop, right? To which I'm supposed to reply, no, it's Dr. Dre. And if you guys don't know who Dr. Dre is because you're particularly young, he is a rapper that would often, rap or rhyme with Snoop Dogg. He had Snoop Dogg in a lot of his songs. So the misdirection obviously is what's brown and rhymes with Snoop. It's supposed to be poop, but it's actually Dr. Dre. They rhyme together. Now the comedy was going to be in me saying, you don't know who Dr. Dre is, do you? And she goes, and I expected her to say, of course I know who Dr. Dre is, right? But she genuinely was too young. Stripes was too young and didn't know who the hell Dr. Dre was. She's not cultured like that, homie.
What do you expect when you choose to associate with a 12-year-old girl? Kyle.
Nigga, someone may be listening that doesn't know that you're not that and could believe your lies. Stop playing, Stripes. There's playing and then there's fucking stop, Stripes. You can't say shit like that. Don't hit me. Golly. Anyway, man, she legit, she don't know. So what I expected her to say was, of course I know who Dre is. And then I was going to reply, oh, for a second there, I thought you forgot about Dre. Okay. Do you know that? Do you get the joke, Stripes?
No. What's the joke? Who's Dre?
Dr. Dre.
Okay, but how is that a joke at the end? I don't understand the punchline.
Because I thought you forgot about Dre.
Is that a song?
Stripes doesn't get that reference, which is the beauty of this. So maybe it's a little bit funny in a way. Maybe we've retained some of the funny, okay? Because Stripes doesn't even get why that's funny, okay? And if you don't, then I guess just Google the phrase. Stripes, we got to continue, man. There's no end. There's no end to the fun I can extract out of Stripes because Stripes don't know. Number 40. Biggest... No, wait, what? Not number 40, but 40 biggest adult temper tantrums witnessed goes on to number 33. A quick reminder, this video was also made for a chick named Rachel, or it could be a man, who cares? It left a comment saying that they were sad and that these were actually helping them, I guess, distract themselves. So, they're here for you. And I hope that, you get a little better. Also, Fidgety Fugu, became a patron on the Patreon, so I'm going to be recording a little voicemail for him because that's what he requested, and I appreciate that. I just set up the Patreon and it's already gone through like some kind of update to its interface. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine establishing something on a page and then by the end of the day the interface is like, now we're changing, this is the new format? I'm like, nigga, what the fuck?
Oh man, I was hoping it was just something on my end, even though that's a weird thing to hope for, but like, I hate their new icon. It's
Yes,
so
dude, it changed from the time that I made a video earlier, Stripes. Let me show you something, like
they
legit.
have a new logo. Why would you change your logo when you've had it for like 3 years now?
I made a video this fucking morning, and in it you can see the icon at the top left of Patreon, and it's changed from
It's
this
just a
morning
dot.
to now. What?
It's just a dot.
We're just getting old. It's not a dot, Stripes. You know there's like a blue little line that's supposed to be the line in the P?
Oh.
Yeah, it's so dark blue that it's not really
Oh.
standing out well on my, midnight. This is really pissing somebody off that just wanted me to go through the list, but forgive me. You guys should have known as soon as you heard Stripe's voice, this was not going to go the way that you wanted it to, and I love you.
Yeah,
But
thanks for
what?
using me as a scapegoat. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I was pretty bad this list, but I just wanted to share that hilarious comment on my fucking page. It's always some bullshit when somebody comments on the page. Trying to move the goalpost to you cuck. Number 33, we had a dress rehearsal for an orchestra concert, and the duet before us went over the time, apparently because they started late. When we kindly reminded them, the violist snapped and said something under his breath, how we had made them wait a previous rehearsal, which was not true. We were told to take more time. Our clarinet said, "Excuse me, would you like to say that to my face?" What follows next was two mature, adult, professional classical musicians screaming at each other on a symphony stage. Luckily, the violist backed down and admitted fault because even the artistic director couldn't get them to calm down. Ain't nothing scarier than classically trained motherfuckers getting into it, you know what I mean? Because
Have
we're
you
not
ever
being
seen anything like that?
Are you kidding? Yeah. I've seen some of, some of the most impressive women that I've known have been the women with the pipes that I fucking sing alongside. And to watch them get into it because they're very well balanced women. You know what I'm talking about? They've got their shit together, and they're not emotionally provoked or easily swayed by what we would consider less than worthy of their attention / energy type shit. They're not basic. They're very capable. They're the types of women that a lot of guys immediately look at and go, that's the type of mother that I want for my kids. And that's not a lot of chicks. You don't take a lot of chicks home to mama, so to speak. You know what I mean? And some of these girls that I used to sing with were those types of chicks, but they were really good at getting under each other's skin. And I seen some shit that genuinely frightened me. Like, I don't know how to describe it to you, because like I can say, I think the easiest way to describe the horror would be to say this. If a man came at me with a gun, I would feel something, you know? This could be it, you know what I'm talking about? I need to try my best to remain vigilant, attent, and alert, find a way out of this scenario. I could die, I might not, that's what's up. But the fucking fear associated with being in the midst of these people and not knowing what could happen. Like, there are a few times in my life where I've thought to myself, fucking anything would happen. At least when it's somebody that's robbing you, or it's a gun, or they want to beat you up, it's pretty much just an ass whooping or not an ass whooping. That's two sides of a coin, Stripes. You know what I mean? But when anything could happen, it's like fear of the dark. You don't know what's out there. And with these women, oh my God, the air like left my body in some of these times, and some of them fought like, oh my God. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are so pretty. Why would you ever hurt yourself? Please stop. It's just like so nuts. And like some of us were as close as family too. So it was just like, it was like siblings fighting. It was nuts. It was legit nuts. Anyway, why'd you get me on this? God, I don't want to think
because I knew you'd have something.
I didn't want
I'm
to
sorry.
Number 32, adult temper tantrums. I told a grown woman she could not pet my service dog while he was working. What the hell? Oh, she want to do that? She got herself so worked up, she started shouting and told me that if I didn't want people to pet my dog, I shouldn't bring him to the grocery store. It's a service dog, you dumb bitch. I expect this sort of behavior from young children. And I also expect their parents to keep them under control. You gotta add women to some of these categories. I know that comment's gonna trigger some men listening to this that like to put on wigs and lipstick. I'm kidding. I'm not. I love you guys. Oh my god. Stripes, there's this chick that I play a lot with named Haru, and I need to do a stream with her because for some reason she finds me particularly funny, and it makes me go off a little bit more than I'm used to, you know? So you'd probably hear some honest to God pretty crazy shit out of me. I remember yesterday I was talking to her and I said this thing about how it's so insensitive. So guys, just bear with me because it's just a joke, but whatever. Oh God, I can't say too much, Stripes, but let's just say that there exists a person in her life that is transitioning, but they still got the PP. And maybe they're not going to get the surgery, so they keep the PP, right? And they're not on great terms with their parents. And of course, naturally, I had to put myself in that scenario. And I was thinking to myself, you know, if this was my kid, you know, I would still love him. I would hate what he does, I guess, you know. But I'd have to love him, you know. But maybe, just maybe, Stripes, I would constantly be spilling stuff all over him. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah, I'd just be spilling stuff all over the kid, and one day he's all like, "God damn it, Dad! What is this? It smells so strong." And I'd just be like, "It's just a little bit of gasoline. Don't worry about it. It's a little bit of gasoline. It's a little bit of gasoline. Here's some weed. You wanna go out back? Just a little bit of gas. Don't worry about it."
Wait, is that your passive aggressive way of trying to make him manly?
No, Stripes. If I were. Are you joking?
No, I don't understand.
If I spilled
you're
gas,
trying to set your son on fire?
He's already flaming. You walked right into that one. Oh my god, let's get out of this list, dude. We're not even at 30. You walked right into that one. He's already flaming.
But it's just like, what if they, before they transition and pretty much sterilize themselves, what if they just like, I don't know, put away some seed in case they do want kids? Would that make it any better, do you think?
No. I don't think that's what makes a lot of the parents who are upset over the gender identity of their kids aren't upset because they won't bear children. They're upset because they got, you know, in their eyes, an abnormal child. Remember, most parents are very, very, very invested in seeing their child pass through the very specific cookie cutter molds set by society. And when they don't do that, they, you know, judge accordingly, and they also measure based on, I guess, who they idolize. Not necessarily like even people geographically around them, but like say they have a friend or something, and you know they're imposing themselves on them. You know, the same way that some moms that wish they could have done this or done that when they're young, they take their kids and they take them on to these shows, and they're giving producers, you know, blowjobs, and they're trying to get their kid into this garbage, and the kid may or may not really want to be doing that, but they're living through their child. So, you know, a lot of these people, when they don't end up being what they want them to be, it's because, you know, it's a failure as far as an expectation versus reality, you know. And
I just want to ask one thing about your friend's tranny friend. Are they keeping the PP because they're into women and they want to use it on women?
No.
So they're not into women?
They're into men. They're into men. They're a man going woman, and they still have the PP, Stripes. And naturally, they're seeking other men. You know?
I've come across a lot of people's pages that are transitioning into women, but they're still into women, so they're like trans lesbians, I guess.
Look, I can't shake my head any harder at the fucking state of the world. Can we please just continue? Number 31 on the list of 40 adult temper tantrums witnessed. 4 years ago, I worked at a Target. Any retail job will show you infinite adult temper tantrums. One day, a man in his near 40s, well-dressed, was buying lighters, and his 2 young sons were with him, maybe 8 and 11. As my current customer finished, I informed the man that I would need his ID in order to sell him the lighters. He started frustrated laughing and said, "Do I look like I'm under 18 fucking years?" And I said, "I believe you are over 18 years, sir, but when I scan the lighters, it will ask for your ID. If you don't have it, I have to call my manager to put a code in. Just trying to make things as easy as possible for you." He said, "You're a fucking idiot," and threw the lighters at me and went to leave. The current customer, as the dude stormed by, said, "Stop being an asshole." And the man turned around and got in his face. They started arguing, but my current customer kept his cool while the asshole shouted at him. I'm pretty sure the dad does this frequently because the kids were tugging on his clothes, asking him to stop. Oh, what a bad influence for your kids. Another time, a lady had 2 carts full of stuff. She was an extreme couponer and would resell these products on Facebook. Wow. She had calculated it, and after everything was done, she was to get $280 in product that we would owe her 50 cents. What? The issue is, it is not possible to pay someone out of the register. The system won't allow it. I offered to $0 out her balance, but instead I couldn't give her money. She requested to speak to my manager. As my manager came over, the woman starts accusing me of stealing from her. Then she explains to my boss the situation, and my boss corroborates my story. Then the woman says, "Then you can go fuck yourself," tipped the cart over, and left. $280 worth of product for $0? This is extreme couponing thing may not be too much of a hassle after all. It's not for $0 though, it's for the hours and hours of time you spend finding and buying, cutting and printing and organizing coupons, or browsing and clipping coupons on apps. Then you have to go to the stores, sometimes many stores and sometimes hours away, to find exactly what you need. Shopping can take even more hours. Yeah, you're basically paying with time, effort, and gas money. And, some people value their lives. But I mean, if this is your life, then God bless you. Anybody listening, an extreme couponer? You know what I mean? Oh, man, I need to make videos that are more controversial and piss everybody off. Not the play way that I try to... There. Nah, man. All the different identity, gendered people know that I'm just playing around. They all have a sense of humor, which is something that most cis motherfuckers don't have. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line.
I wish you stopped using the word cis. It grosses me out so much.
But that's, just the way that they describe them. Here's the thing. We are willing to learn their language. What sucks is that it seems like so many times some of them aren't willing to learn ours. Do you get what I'm saying? And the funny part is they already know our language. They just like to pretend they don't understand it. Going back to earlier, remember I was saying this is a dude that's transitioning to a girl but still has his bing bong, and he wants men now. The thing is, some of them only want men who are interested in cis women. And they're trying to pass themselves as cis women as opposed to being upfront and saying, hey, I'm a transitioning dude to a lady. Because what a transitioning dude to a lady should be seeking are, fucking dudes who are interested in transitioning dudes. And instead, they're just trying to trick, people who are cis by their standards or terminology into some bing bong. And what sucks is sometimes it's all about acceptance, as we've said plenty of times in the past, and we're willing to accept what they're about, but it seems like they're not willing to accept that, some people have preferences, and that's kind of sad. But you've never had any kind of run-ins with the gays? Soon, No Stripes. Soon.
I've had a gay friend once.
But
Just
not
once.
that was wanting it. That's what I mean. Wanting a
No.
piece of that Stripes bong.
Why would? Oh no, I've never known. Wait, that's right. I went to Job Corps and there were loads of lesbians there.
Were they all about you?
No, of course not.
It's because you weren't sexy then. What happened to you? Started eating all that candy. All of
I never
that.
stopped eating all that candy.
I never stopped. One day I met Candy, and I never stopped. Number 30. A 60-ish-year-old man was getting gas, and the pump allows you to pay for a car wash at the same time. He adds the car wash to his bill, drives around to the car wash, big, huge, large C from space type sign, temporarily out of service. Goes inside and starts screaming that this motherfucker tried to steal his $7.99. And the guy explains that the ticket is good for 90 days and he's sorry. Slams his fist on the counter, screaming that if the car wash was out of service, the pump shouldn't have offered it to him in the first place. Demands a full refund, including the gas for wasting his time. Then it gets bad. Oh, it's not bad already? He starts calling the guy an ISIS member. Oh, say word. And throwing things off of the shelf before storming out. Calls the guy all sorts of names. I thought his head may have exploded with all of the veins showing. Some people just got a bad day. This man is my father. We don't speak anymore. What the fuck? You know, I completely missed that line until I read the response that says plot twist. Stripes, what are you looking at?
I'm not looking at anything. I'm
I can
trying to
hear
fix
you.
my glasses.
Oh, that was your glasses. Oh, I really wanted to make this list for Rachel, but I'm just feeling dead. There's a reason that I only record one list a day.
I'm sorry. I'm here for you, though.
Are you going to finish the list? Exactly.
Sure.
Number 20. What? Sure. Let's hear it, Stripes. Let's go.
All right. Number 29, did you say?
Yeah.
The woman the woman in the cubicle across from me literally every day. Example. Her new puppy won't sit quietly okay, never mind. I don't want to do this. I'm tapping out.
Well, you made it through one full sentence, though. Stripes. You did it. I wanted like a kind of cute little business lady, Stripes, that was all like, number 29. The woman in the cubicle across from me literally every day, tonight at 10.
It's just, I know I'm gonna trip over words, and I'm afraid.
Who cares? Number 29. The woman in the cubicle across from me literally every freaking day. Her new puppy won't sit quietly beside her for 2 hours at her kid's baseball game. The person who just called her wasn't 100% sure what they wanted, and she has to go to work a bit to find out. Someone kindly asked for a response on the same day with multiple apologies of the short notice. I get it. The lady's a bitch. We don't need to stay on this one. Number 28. When I worked at a McDonald's, I was scheduled for an early morning shift. This guy ordered a steak, egg, and cheese, which wasn't something we batched cooked. What? The next 3 people behind him all ordered batched cooked items and got them before him. The guy proceeds to scream and shout and then get in my face, and I tried explaining why, but he was just screaming over me. The cook came over to try and explain, hoping the guy would back down. We couldn't find our manager anywhere. To try and get help, his coworkers slowly inched toward the door until they were far enough to just run. In the end, he demanded a refund, which the cook side fine, please get in line. Nigga, what? When the end, he demanded a refund, which the cook side fine, please get in line. And wait, Yeah, he actually made the guy get back in line for the refund. As the guy is getting to the register, his food was ready, and he took it and left with no refund. Then the manager came out trying to figure out what was going on. Did somebody say McDonald's?
Well, I guess that'll sort itself out if no one had to give him back his money.
Just all blew over. Number 27. Not so much a tantrum, but just an incredible rage incident. I watched a woman exiting an Thinking about Einstein Brothers bagels, they have like a really nice honey one, like a spread that I like. I would go to Einstein Bagels just for their like cream cheese spreads.
Wait, there's a place. There's a place that specializes in bagels.
Yeah, it's called Einstein Brothers Bagels.
Sounds cute.
I'm glad it's working out for him.
Excuse me.
That's how Stripes hiccups, guys. Leave a comment about it in the comment section below. I watched as a woman exiting an Einstein Brothers Bagels looked into her bag and, in anger over some error in her order, perfectly frisbeed an all-grain bagel across the length of the store, over sitting customers, and beamed the cashier perfectly on the head. Her aim was so impressive that none of us, including the cashier, could do anything but stare in silenced awe. There should have been like a hushed golf clap. Somebody said, I pictured this from the point of view of the soaring bagel for some reason. What a stupid comment. Look, Reddit's crazy, man. Number 26. Someone opened a window on the bus and some guy went nuts, stood up and slammed it shut, and started giving everybody a lecture on how this guy should consider everyone else. We, of course, all English, told him to shut the fuck up and open the window again. Somebody said I was expecting the opposite reaction, where all of you pretend that nothing is happening and avoid eye contact with one another. But I guess there are some instances where one must intervene. I had one of those the other day, where I had to call the police when someone in front of me was violently mugged. That sucks. Oh, Stripes, the world is a shitty place. Crazy bitch freaks out over nothing in a Santa Monica restaurant. Oh, we've seen this one.
Is this the one I was talking about?
What do you mean?
The lady with the chips. I don't think this is her.
No, this is just some bitch like literally going crazy until everybody was like, get the fuck out of here, you stupid old bitch. Dumbass. And they were like, call the police on this stupid hoe. And she was just like, no, you listen. Like, just another fucking crazy bro.
Oh, man. Did you see the video of Shia LaBeouf throwing a fit at a bowling alley?
Was this recent?
Recent enough, like a month ago maybe.
No. I still can't get over Shia assaulting somebody at his stupid little, we will not, we are united, or whatever the fuck he had going on.
Oh man, he had to come back and return the bowling alley shoes that he stormed off with. He was still wearing them and he had to come back and give it to them, back to them. It was amazing.
We'll watch it later. Grown. That probably takes the cake on this list of adult temper tantrums. Poor Shia LaBeouf. He's brandishing a knife. Number 24. Not the biggest, but one. Oh boy, I'm so sorry. But one that comes to mind was a job I had years ago, where all but one of us had to do this really annoying group task. What?
You disgusting piece of crap.
You disgusting piece of crap. Wow, Stripes.
I love you so much.
Tell me how you really feel. It was like I am in shutdown mode. My body is probably like begging to know why I'm not napping. Okay. This is such a podcast. It's such a good freaking list. But
your heart's not in it?
Dude, here's what we'll do. We'll read up to 21 Stripes. Then we'll end this list which has already run on for an hour. Do you believe that? And then we'll do a part 2, which is the one that's going to be serious, okay? Apologies to everybody. I made this list with good intentions. A commenter named Rachel left a comment saying that, you know, she was sad and these get her through. I wanted to make more, but I am not equipped physically to record right now. You know, there's a time and a place and a reason that I start recording when I record, and right now, whoa, just take that time, baby. So let's go ahead and get through the rest of these. Somehow we've been doing this for an hour. I genuinely apologize, because you know there's always that couple of people who aren't invested in the podcast style of this. They're wanting specifically just the list. They want me to get on with it. But guys, 40 was probably too much. So 40 to 20 is going to be like the okay stories, but not great. But 20 to number 1, that's what you're looking for. So I'm probably going to need to change the title. I could just call it part 1.
Or, you know, you could just pretend this list never happened.
We have so many throwaway lists already. We're not going to do it. I'm not recording for an hour to not put it up. You know, these it's not like they're making anything. You know what I mean? I'm making people. The Patreons are the patrons. Are the ones who are getting me paid now. Like some of these videos are, you know, fuck you. YouTube ad debacle. Number 24, not the biggest, but one that comes to mind, was a job I had years ago where all but one of us had to do this really annoying group task involving lots of back and forth trips to a laundromat on the hottest day of the year. We were academic counselors for a summer program, and we had to walk groups of 30 students about a mile away to do laundry because the college's machines broke. And these kids were getting stinky. The only one exempt from this task was the one suck-up who always kissed the ass of the main top supervisor. We all assumed she was exempt because she kissed so much ass. She was probably licking and sucking too, you know what I'm talking about. But I think the supervisor just forgot to assign a task to her because she was so useless. On our 3rd trip back, she's literally lounging in the lobby with her feet on a chair doing nothing, and the supervisor walks by, notices her, and has what seems to have been a moment of realization, and then tells her to get a group and start doing the same laundry trips the rest of us were doing. She went nuts. Fucking bonkers of this. She's not screaming, but she's whining really loudly and quickly and repeating, "That's not fair, this isn't fair," over and over and over again. The fact that she's felt it wasn't fair is what infuriated me the most. She then punched a hole in the lobby wall in frustration over having to do the same job everyone else had to do. 2 days later, the main supervisor got fired, and the assistant supervisor, who this lazy worker was bad-mouthing in an attempt to get into upper management's good graces, was made the top supervisor. This did not end well for the lazy one. The lazy one stripes.
So what? Was she sent back home? I'd hope so.
We can assume she was crucified, Stripes. Yeah, she died for all the lazy people's sins. Amy from Amy's Baking Company. This has got to be a reference to some show that I haven't seen. Let's just throw that phrase into Google.
Oh, it's the one from Top Chef or Iron Chef or whatever. The one with, yes, this is the lady. I love her.
Why do you love her?
Cause she's an awful woman, and her husband is like, you know those football fish that kind of just melt into their mates and become a part of them, like a parasite? He's one of those. Gordon Ramsay.
Stripes, I remember this. It was a Reddit thing where she freaked out. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It was a Reddit thing. That may be something that I can make a Reddit, holy crap. I could make a Reddit collection out of that. We'll get back to it, guys. If you don't know who this bitch is, I want to say Kitchen Nightmares. She was the nastiest, rudest person ever. Maybe that's her gimmick. Guys, to be relevant, you guys got to stay controversial. You know, Eminem understood it. Eminem understood it. Right. Eminem got his name in the mouths of half the parents. You know what I mean? And parents that were too stupid to understand that psychologically forbidding something very specific from your kids is gonna put it on their fucking radar. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If it gets to the point where your kids are obsessed with this shit, you know, that's when you step in. But when you see that they're basically tasting it in a capacity where you haven't seen them with it before, you don't know if it's been there for a long time, and you're going, whoa, 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 this thing, shine a spotlight on this thing, don't do this thing. Like, psychologically, man, what's it gonna make them do? The thing you tell them not to do. Oh my God. You know, I was talking to Hadu earlier, and she's never heard of Tom Green. Made me feel old. I told her that Tom Green was a dude that was making YouTube videos before YouTube came out. He was autism as hell and ADD as well. And he would have a
show on Comedy Central. Am I thinking of the same man?
Nope. Way before Comedy Central was relevant again. I think when Tom Green had a show on MTV, maybe it was around when Comedy Central was still kicking out shit like Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist. What y'all niggas know about Dr. Katz? You know how young all of the people like that are into me are. I love you guys to death, but you make me feel like, oh man. Dr. Katz had a lot of the same voice actors as another show called Home Movies, which a lot of people are more familiar with because of its run on Adult Swim. Here's a Dr. Katz Easter egg on South Park. Interesting. Here's a Dr. Katz Easter egg on Family Guy. Look at that. And it's funny because it was made in squiggle vision, so all of the animation would kind of jump around and look very interesting. But Dr. Katz had his son, John, or I think his name was Benjamin Katz, and he was actually voiced by John Benjamin, who is famously the voice of Archer and Bob from Bob's Burgers right now. So that's funny. I mean, you guys can go back and take it. I'm not going to fucking promo Dr. Katz. The show ain't sponsored by old ass Dr. Katz. Dr. Katz.
It's too late. You've essentially already done that.
No. Dr. Katz came out in 95.
Stop doing it.
Ain't John Benjamin is now the top billing in the cast because he's more relevant than actually Jonathan Katz. Crazy, huh?
I don't like how sad he always looks. Benjamin is. He looks like he wants to die.
Don't we all? Number 22. This is second to last because remember this is going to be a two-part list. Okay. When I worked in the bakery at Whole Foods, we had a customer who kept asking us to make banana muffins with a lot of pecans on top. Okay. But only a few at a time, like 2 or 3. In general, it was a request we could accommodate, but we had a few considerations we had to account for, like the fact that if we made them and she didn't pick them up, we couldn't sell them to anyone else because the pecans weren't on the ingredients list. The problem started arising, this is a long fucking, the problem started arising when she would call us while she was on the way to the store, expecting to pick them up when she arrived. She was about 20 minutes away and they took 45 minutes to make. Even if she had called us while she was an hour away, we were on a pretty tight production schedule and someone would have to interrupt the work they had been doing to get that done that day for an unexpected special order for this one customer. First, she got mad that we couldn't magically make them 20 minutes because chemistry. I was unfortunately the supervisor on shift, and when she called most of the time, so she'd keep me on the phone for 15 minutes raging about how the customer is always right, even though she was factually incorrect in this circumstance. She started saying we should just make them her way all the time, and we always had them on hand for her that way. Okay. I explained to her that we could get heavily fined by food inspectors if we did that. but that only made her angrier because fuck the man, I guess. Eventually, my team leader said that we had to put our foot down with her and tell her that she had to put in special orders 2 days in advance, just like everyone else. When we told her this, she of course got like sputtering infuriated along the lines of, how am I supposed to know when I'm going to want them? You know what I mean? We were able to get her to say, well, management says so sorry. Oh boy. And we thought that was that. She went along with it for a couple of days, sending her poor mother to pick them up for her because she was too angry to step foot in the store. Her mom always looks so apologetic. Finally, though, she came in personally to berate my team about how rude and inconsiderate they were and generally shitty we had to be. God, you just wonder some of these women, like, just ain't got nothing going on in their lives. You know what I mean? Fuck me. Then she asked to speak to our store manager, who had been made aware of the whole banana nut saga. He escorted her outside and told her that she was banned from the store. We found out later that she had also been banned from the 3 nearest Whole Food locations over this exact same set of circumstances. What?
I guess she's gonna go buy her banana muffins somewhere else.
What kind of garbage is this? This is the stupidest. Like, I'm shocked. Some lady is calling in to have banana muffins made with lots of pecans on top for her.
How hard is it to get pecans?
So many people are so entitled, Stripes. This is the definition. It's so weird. You can't make your own damn banana nut muffins? Number 21. This is the last one, guys.
Well, no, you have a point. She was like giving advice on how to bake them, so maybe she knew how to bake and just didn't want to.
Even if she didn't know, like, you have to wonder if her mom would have been willing to do it for her, because if her mom was existing in a capacity where she would drive out just because the bitch didn't want to go to pick up muffins, you know, for this lady and bring them back, like, mom's just on deck to do whatever the hell you want to do. This sounds corny as hell. You know what I mean? You calling somebody up and you're going, hey, can you get something for me? You know, what's the reason? Oh, I don't want to go? Maybe she lied to her mom. I don't know. But the fact that the mom seemed apologetic means that the mom was probably aware that she had been banned from previous locations. And maybe this bitch got a complex or something. Maybe this bitch got some serious problems going on in her life. And for some reason, the bakery at Whole Foods needs to be the outlet. You know what I'm talking about? Bitch, you are crazy. Here's what we need to understand. Like, I think in the world, what we should just start doing is having cameras in public places. You know what I'm talking about? You're in a public place. You're going to get recorded. You know, act right or get on the internet, baby. Get famous. You know what I'm talking about? Get famous, baby.
Everyone has a camera, though. What's the issue? What's the issue? Everyone already
The thing is, like, if you're in a workplace, you can't just be recording people rolling in. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's usually only when shit pops off that other customers who are not under the umbrella of the company, so they can do whatever the hell they want, can pull out their cameras and then, you know, record the spectacle. But if you and I are working at, you know, some kind of friggin' store, some guy comes in and just starts being a jackass, it would look bad on the company if we, the employees, pulled it out. We could get in trouble for that. We could probably immediately be, you know, released from that job, Stripes, you know, because we're, you know, not to fall back on the customer is always right or some shit, but like, you were supposed to treat them with respect, even if they don't, you know, deserve any of that respect. Guys,
was one of your lists where I learned that a Walmart employee can't call the police himself. He has to go through the steps.
Yep. And I was saying how bad a scenario that is for people like that could potentially rob that bitch, which is crazy. Oh my god, that shit's crazy. Guys, Rachel, are you even awake? Is Rachel even watching this? What if we did it and Rachel didn't care? Rachel. A Turkish embassy brawl on top of the shooting that happened today? Jesus Christ, what's going on in the world?
Seems like everyone's just trying to outdo each other, really.
Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight. How old is Floyd
What?
Mayweather? How old is Floyd Mayweather? 40.
That's not so bad.
Okay.
I think you might need to put a pin on this video.
I didn't know, but Floyd is a boxer, and
Yeah.
this other dude is a lightweight champion of UFC. These are two different things, in my opinion.
Well, maybe it was like something that they agreed upon.
You and I don't give a damn about fighting, so all we're looking for is like a
Well,
gif of the end of that match is what we're looking for. So that's what we're looking for. Oh my god. That's gonna be a pay-per-view event, baby. Everybody's saying, holy fuck, ego fight. It will break the pay-per-view record. I'm calling it now. Why is it sorted by new? Because some fucking dyke of a mod suggested that. So now it's infiltrating my enhancement suite. I have a strong feeling that the build-up and trash talk leading up to the fight will be better than the fight itself. Oh, really? If McGregor wins the fight, I'll name my child Connor and never doubt him again. The fight might be a stinker, but the build-up will be epic. Should be a fun ride. Is that right? Anticipating people from our wall all, Floyd Mayweather is a boxer who has a perfect record of 49 wins and no losses, Stripes. He retired in 2015 and is currently 40 years old. Naturally, Stripes, I was right to ask, how old is Floyd Mayweather? I've been hearing this name forever. But the fact that he's won essentially 50 friggin' matches with no losses, undefeated, is a scary thing. That's a scary thing. He must have been a fucking sure thing for manic gamblers.
So they must have been so disappointed when he retired then.
He retired in 2015. His fight with Pacquiao reportedly earned him in excess of $220 million. What the fuck you still fighting for, my nigga? You don't need more money. How many generations of your family are you trying to set up? You see what I'm saying? You can spend this money in a day if you tried. Unless you were just throwing it away. All right? Conor McGregor fights in the MMA and prioritizes a striking style, a southpaw left-handed fighter. He has had a very fast rise to stardom by talking a lot of trash and usually backing it up. At 28 years old, he has enjoyed phenomenal success. Both are undefeated in a boxing ring. How in shape are you when you retire 2 or 3 years ago?
That's a good point. He might be a little outclassed.
And it ain't even about that. You fighting a lightweight, fast nigga that's more than 10 years your junior. You're fighting a quick one. You're fighting a butterfly. You are 40 years old and you're taking on somebody that, like, look, I don't know shit about fighting. I can't talk. I don't know either of these dudes. But looking at it objectively, on the surface, this is a 40-year-old man that's been out the game for 2 years. You know what I mean? You ain't training like you fighting when you're done fighting. You know what I'm talking about? You don't jump up and be like, I'm retiring and I'm done. And you practicing like you're about to have another fight. You know what I'm talking about? This isn't a fucking Rocky movie. You gonna step into that ring and get shit fucked up. You know what I'm talking about? I feel bad for this, and it's not right, okay? 49 wins is pretty crazy. When you take a lot of beans on the noggin, you come out like Tyson. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes that guy just opens his mouth and you think to yourself, the human head is not something that the brain needs to be rattling around on the inside of. In the same way that we're all human maracas in our coffins when earthquakes happen, when people are taking direct shots to the fucking skull. You know what I'm talking about? The jelly that is that brain inside that skull just guacamoleing on out, aren't there? I'm talking about, Stripes.
I think that the 40-year-old man has less to lose because it's not like he's got any publishing deals lined up or anything. It's just like He probably got offered a shit ton of money. It doesn't matter if
In
he
my
was.
opinion, what the fuck you need the money for? You trying to be a billionaire off boxing? Why do you need it? You know, is this for your family? You looking out for your family? Does your family want your old ass in the ring at this point? You got a
Why are you
family.
still recording this? This shit's boring.
You're boring. Okay. Kyle Stripes fight finalized for today. Ding ding. You know what I'm talking about?
Like you'd ever be on.
Let's get ready to shut her up. Oh my god. Why am I still recording? Here's a joke for you. Okay, Stripes. Here go the
I don't want
jokes.
to hear it.
Nope. Here come the jokes. They're coming at ya. They're coming at ya. Okay. What's red and smells like blue paint? Oh wait.
What's red and smells like blue paint?
Red paint. I went to a zoo, but there was only one dog in it. It was a Shih Tzu.
The zoo is shit.
It was a Shih Tzu.
What do they even look like? I don't know what a Shih Tzu look like. Are they like poodles?
What do you call a fish with no eyes?
What do I call it?
FSH.
I don't understand this one.
Fish with no eyes.
Oh, I like that one.
What do you call a cow with two legs?
What? A woman?
Oh. We should end the list there.
Is that not the punchline?
It's not the punchline. We're gonna end the list here, guys. This was part 1. I promise I'll do better next time. That's probably what I'm gonna put in the title. Like, the next one will be better. I'm so sorry. This is part 1. Oh my god.